never ever try to be a workaholic, never ever try to be at work all the while. I think there's lots of people never have a little gap for pleasure, because it costs money mostly, but they really ought to make the effort, however much it costs, to have a bit of pleasure in your life. Have something to look forward to all the while. Yeah, that's the best thing I can say. Perfect Sunday for me would be, when I was younger, I would love to stay in bed, but I never was allowed to do that, not even on holiday. But now I love to, hopefully, go to chapel Sunday mornings. When I was younger, I'd kill time by cooking something that we probably didn't want, or knowing full well that my daughter's family would eat it, I'd carry on doing it. I love cooking. And when I didn't want to do that and I was well enough, I would be out in the garden doing something, definitely. The housework used to come last, but it did get done, but never properly. I love music of any sort, but since my husband's been gone, I don't put any on at all. I can't listen to it on my own anymore. We used to have a lot of music when he was here. Even if it was him just singing and playing the guitar, we'd have music from somewhere, whatever time of day or night. But that is all gone now. But I'm quite content really here with my dog, Lady, and she's from a dog's home, bless her. But I couldn't be here without her. She's everything to me now. She won't let anybody come anywhere near me, and she's very jealous if another dog comes near me. She guards me all the while, and she can be very, very noisy. Sometimes I wish she couldn't bark anymore, but that doesn't last very long. I was one of 5, and I'm a twin. Got a twin brother, but he's not alive anymore. I'm the only one left in the family. But because he was the only boy, and there was 5 girls in the family, my mother hadn't got any time for me at all, and she made no secrets about it. Whoever come, I'd want to pick up my brother Marcus, leave him where he is. You can have her, whoever it was, or I'd be sent up to a granny to spend a weekend, or a favourite cousin I'd got in Byfield. Her mum used to fetch me and have me over there ever so much. The older 2 girls were close together, and the next one did her own thing. I can never remember playing as a happy family ever. We'd sometimes have my mother's sewing machine out on the floor, a hand sewing machine, and cut up sheets of paper and make into stamps, and somebody'd have the job of writing on them and silly things like that. But I got very bored with things like that. I'd rather be cuddling a cat or a kitten somewhere. We'd always got cats in the house. And I used to love that. Even out in the rain, I'd walk about the garden with a cat in my arms. I was quite a loner, really, until John came into my life. And I think he was 5 years old when I first met him. He was evacuated here from London because it was the beginning of the war. And just him and his mum. Very, very sad child, because the dad didn't come with him. He stayed in London, like lots of dads did. And then he was called up in the army at 18. And we knew if he passed all his exams there, he would go straight to North Africa, and that would be over 18 months, nearer the 2 years, the whole of his service time. Begged him to not pass any exams. We had a party and got engaged, and he did pass everything he had to pass. and he was away for the best part of 2 years. So I was left here on my own. It was a long, long time in North Africa. And we wrote every single day. He was in the desert, but he used to get all the letters in heaps, you know, and then he'd have a spell of none. Every single day he wrote, and I wrote to him. And I remember him writing when it was Valentine's Day, because he couldn't get a Valentine's card. Nearly all the letter was like a Valentine's card. It was beautiful. I couldn't have parted with that one to save my life. And I used to put my lips on the envelope when I folded it over every single time. Did have a 4-day honeymoon in London at the Imperial Hotel. I think it was one of the most expensive hotels. It was in Russell Square in London. I'd never even been before, and we didn't know. Somebody came out and met us and shook hands, and the buttonholes give you away, you see. And then when we got to sign for a key for the room, I said to John, "What will I sign as?" And he looked at me. I didn't know whether I was signed as Mrs. Page or Glenis Page or what. And he said, so I said, he was being awkward, so I asked the man who handed me the pen, and he said, "Well, it's G Page now, isn't it?" So I signed my name, and he handed over the key, and we went and found the bedroom, and we just had these 4 days there. We'd both decided not to start straight away, and I had a problem, quite a big problem, and they told me up at Banbury Hospital, they can't put it right, but I'd certainly be better if I started a family, really made that, because I'd come home and told my mother that. She said, "You're not going to tell John, are you?" I said, "Of course I am." Well, I said, "But we're not ready yet, Mother." "Well, she don't have them while you live there," because I was still living next door to it. But I did, and we had Mandy. But I thought I was going to have her very soon, and it was 5 years after we decided to have her that she was born. So that wasn't very nice. I was a bit worried, but however, I did have her, but I did say never, never again, and meant it, and wouldn't have him come into the hospital to see me, wouldn't have him in the door. I was ashamed of that, but I couldn't help it, and they come and explained to me, a little Irish nurse who was pregnant herself. She said, she was a dear little woman, and she said, "He's waiting outside and he's got a bag of goodies for you, and he's longing to see the baby." And it was her that persuaded me to let him in. Mandy was absolutely wonderful. She was a little angel. I don't mind saying it in front of her. We could take her anywhere, and you told her what we were going to do, and she'd do it. And the best time for playing or doing anything she wanted to do was the later at night it was, the better. And John's father had built something, if he was here he'd tell you, it was made by Truvox, which was a firm he worked for at the time. And it recorded, it was a little microphone you plugged in, and all you had to do, John used to keep saying to her, right from when she was about 18 months old and first talking, "That's a magic eye there, you've got to keep watching that, Mandy." And she picked things up, and all the books we read to her, all the nursery rhyme things and everything, within a few days she knew them all off by sight. We'd still turn the pages as if she was reading, but I could remember so much of these nursery rhymes now. David, he didn't like going out anywhere. He just would lay on the floor. He needed to be at school, but he wasn't old enough to go to school. We'd just moved up here. He'd lay on the floor, and we'd got a funny old-fashioned television in that corner, but there was no programmes much on. There was just nice music, and it was lovely music. He'd lay on his back with his hand on his head, He'd be tapping his foot. We'd love every bit of music. But as he got bigger, if he could be with us and do some mischief of some sort, go out and do something or have something he shouldn't have, he was all right then. But all he wanted to do was listen to music. He only went to Kyneton's High School to draw guitars and do silly drawings and write. He wrote lots of songs, really proper songs, and some of them nice. He can sing. He's got a wonderful voice. Nearly all my family can. These boys can sing. All the family play in the band, plus, which is 4 boys, plus a son-in-law. He plays the bass. The others play guitar and drums. And only one of them sings. And it gets a hold of everybody, young and old, which was one thing I missed out on. My John, he played in a dance band all his life. We always had singing and playing in all the family. I've been so fortunate, but I do really, really miss it now. And they sung something on my 90th wedding, my 90th birthday, and that was my son's 3 boys, and one of them's wife. She's a lovely singer, she is. She can sing Ella Fitzgerald numbers and things, really beautiful. I've sung with Dad only by force, and that wasn't until, and I really mean by force, I was nearly 70 before I sung with him, and he begged me right from a child to do that. I'm ashamed of that. I just couldn't. I can't be in front of people, says me talking, to never stop talking, but not to sing, because my John was a singer, and he'd got a lovely voice, and he used to say, John, it's you they want to hear, not me. And I think I was right. But I know I was. I loved flower arranging, Never had a lesson of any sort, but right from a child I'd done church flowers with next to nothing, because you couldn't afford to buy flowers now. But I do often have a lot of flowers, but not at this time of year in the garden. I can always pick some. But I'm done for reaching and carrying things now. If I put any in a pot, somebody has to take them where they got to go. I can't do it. So John built a little, well, I don't know what to call it really, but an extension to my dining room out there. He did it really for, David had a set of drums before he left here, and that's where he used to thrash them. But it was still standing there with a concrete floor and some shelves and things in. John did it all nice for me, and the heating out there, and I joined, I don't know what it was it was done all over the country, offering people so much money a week to set up something of their own. £40 a week for so many weeks, and if you hadn't made a go of it, they wouldn't help you anymore. It was up to you then. I made contacts with various people where I knew I could get the flowers from. My niece was into that sort of thing. She would take me, because I could buy dried flowers before I could start growing them, which I did do, and she was into silk flowers for weddings. So we used to go together and buy the flowers. I started, and I called it Glencraft, because my name being Glenis. I got on great. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I'd never make any money, because I used to put so many flowers in them and spend so much time at it. I hadn't got time for a cup of tea really. I wanted to do them all the while. I always sold them, because if they couldn't afford them, I'd knock some money off, you see. So I always would sell them. And I used to make smelly cushions and pretty cushions, aprons and things like that. I never made any money, but I didn't care about that. I saw a lady only a week ago at a meal I went to, Linda Sandal. She's still got the flowers I made her when she lived at North End, because they lasted forever, you see. I saved every drop of my washing up water, right up until, well, the last bottle I emptied this morning, to water these pots and pans and things, you know, around, because of the water situation. I don't know if many folks do that. And another thing I do that I've never done, I've sewed all my life. I've always done sewing. What I used to do is make things out of something else, mostly. I sewed for both children and that, you know, but only self-taught. But I could always alter things to fit anybody, whether it be male or female. I was tailoress down at the army camp for quite a lot of years, and that is proper sewing. Just me on my own, and not knowing the men at all. Somebody come, I was in an office working down there in HQ to do with ammunition. It was counting, I used to count the ammunition in the sheds, but I used to deal with it on paper in a book and put a summary sheet in what was in what shed. That was my job, and what they were. And somebody come, the woman that set me on down here, she said, is anybody interested in sewing? John was in North Africa at this time. And I said, well, yes, I am. I don't know why I done it. I said, well, I'm interested if you tell me what to do. I got sense then to say things like that, but I haven't gone on like that the rest of my life. Anyway, he set me on, and it was going to be £5 a week. Well, that was untold wealth for me. I wasn't earning that at this office job, or before in sewing in Banbury in a factory. And as I say, I still do to this day. And I hope I can always use my machine until I die. On our golden wedding anniversary, we celebrated it, of course. Went up to the church where we were married up on the hills. I don't know if you've ever been up to that beautiful church. And had our picture took in the same place as we stood as bride and groom. Only that was 50 years later. John developed bowel cancer, but it was his heart that killed him. But he wasn't a well man, and he had to give it up. He thought he could go on forever. Like his band jobs, he'd ring all the boys and say, do you want to play? Should we have another go? And so he couldn't do what he was, but he used to jump up on that stage down there, didn't he? Jump off it to talk to people as if there was nothing wrong with him. But he had to give in the end. And the day before he died, he had to come home to die. He begged to come home ever since he went in hospital. We used to go and see a trad band, there's only 5 of them. We used to go regularly, we loved them all. And I got him when he was getting worse. We didn't know how long he'd got, if any of them would come out and play for him. And he was in bed, of course. They were lovely men, and they loved it. And he would get up and sing with them, you see, when we went. We'd have a meal there and a drink, and he always sung with them because he knew all them old songs, and none of them could sing. So they used to love it. John and his dad played at the Watley Hall Hotel for a session, just played and sung, the pair of them, for a while, as long as they could pay them, and then it all stopped. So David would sing the song, John would sing the song, and my boy done the harmony, you see. And Of course, John would lose it because he hadn't got the breath to carry on singing, but David would pick it up and sing, and it was lovely, really, wasn't it? There was a few tears, but we did keep them back right until the end. And I put all the lights on to see if there's any spiders.
And what are you doing with the Black Baileys?
And if I've seen one, and I have to catch it somehow, I'll come back and warm myself up. I've tried to kill them. I can't always succeed. I'll come back and warm myself half a cup of milk and put a drop of this in it. And this will help me get asleep. It doesn't always work, but I do have it, and that's what I bought it for.